Hello.
Walter, would you quit
Walter.
waving that? Calm down. Quit waving the piece around.
Hey, I'm just fitting on my puppy here. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. You were supposed to say, Tom, you are.
Oh, well, I'm not as big into Big Lebowski as I met a little puppy here. He's a big pale mouth pit. He's already been missing an eye, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, pet on me, pet on me." So, yeah, Big Lebowski ain't as important as the peed on the rug thing. But how are you?
Yeah, it kind of takes second seat to that. I got you. Back seat. Yeah. Oh, man, that's good. Can you hear me pretty well or no?
Oh, I can hear you now. You're not breaking up like before. Go ahead, please.
Well, I'm just standing up here now. I readjusted to another part of the room. But hey, yes, but I've been sitting around here today, man, just kind of chilling. And it's been kind of serious, man. Yeah.
Oh, it's been crazy on Christmas Day. I mean, we should not have to be this intense. Everything's supposed to be at the family and this and that. I've got my little Claudine, which is my daughter's dog, and I've got my little Boo-Boo. He's a pale mouth pit, and he's such a sweet man, But how about you?
Well, I'm out here talking to you, which means that I'm playing with my dog. Let's bring him in here. But
see, that tells me so many things. You're here talking to me. I am so sorry.
Good company. Well, my wife has got COVID now. She doesn't feel well. She's in there sleeping.
Yeah.
And the boys are in there playing video games and talking to their friends, and the other one's about to, go back to his dad's house. So they're just kind of finishing up, and the other one is just left.
So is that Christmas Day stuff?
Well, it's, everybody's playing with their Christmas and sleeping and all that kind
there
of shit.
you go.
Now,
absolutely.
We've been away sleeping for the last 4 or 5 days, and now I feel good. I'm not that, but I feel better. And I'm starting to move around. Got a little weed. There was a couple of days I really couldn't even smoke, man. It was just, I was so stopped up and shit.
Dude, you've been way better than I have. Cause, you burn all that stuff out there. Damn, I was just sitting around for the last 3 or 4 days. But, yeah, please continue. Because I was like, OMG.
I had to walk it off. But, yeah, I got scared. I wanted to get that shit out of there. But now I have more. But what I've been doing every night about 8 is going to bed and waking up about 8. And I still did that today. And maybe I'll do it tomorrow, and then maybe after the first of the year, I'll be ready to roll again. Shit, I want to tell you right now, that shit made me so weak, man. It just knocked me out.
I am not used to that. I'm used to going to bed late, waking up early. If I ain't up by 4, damn, that hurts me. But now, that's still just one of those things that I was used to the entirety of my life. So, yeah, I've got to learn to find that middle ground.
Oh, man, speaking of fun and not being COVID, I mean, there'd be mornings of us at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, man, me and you and Danny, man, we'd be rocking and rolling in this thing. And that's what people want to hear. Man, we hear some upbeat shit because we're all depressed now. I am. I'm tired of all this bullshit. I'm ready for some real shit. I tell you this. I also have been in my quarantine. I've also been doing some some true crime stuff. I've watched a bunch of Toyotas get rebuilt and restored. I'm talking about everything on these 80s and 90s models, Toyota pickups and Tacomas and all this stuff, these FJ Cruisers, man, and four-wheelers and 6x6s. everything side by side. It's amazing what people do. If you got money, man, you can do some spectacular shit and make some really cool
Well,
videos of it too.
no, you're true. I mean, like I've seen a couple of the outside of the grids where you're talking about was Randall the only one involved, and then of course we were talking about your truck. But now, again, unless you go back and actually read or listen to all our podcasts, that D50 means something. And your pictures, the AI's description of the D50, no, that is not the D50. But now I understand. Yes, absolutely correct.
It kind of missed it a little bit, but I liked what it did with it, though. That thing looked good, But now, back then, see, I was thinking about going low. But now, if I were to do it now, I'd jack it up an inch or two. You know what I'm saying? But that was just back then. Back in the 80s, that was the mid-80s. That was like, what, 86, 87? 87, probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I was so surprised that Bradley actually shoved those P120s on your D50. They were too wide for those rims. But
I remember him doing that.
It looked great, truly. It did.
Explain that to people. Explain what that means to people.
Well, I mean, it was a D50 that was normally used to a 7.5 inch rim spit, and when you shoved that on there, it took work. They installed a 8.5 inch tire on a 7.5 inch rim, and that made it look huge. And they were huge, and it looked so good, which is why when I became the 74 inch Ford, that's what made it like, what does that mean? It's like, well, there's 10 inches around, all the way around my tires. And it made a explosion on, the way everyone else actually was doing the, let's surprise ourselves. 8 inch on the front, 10 inch on the back, 6 on the front, 8 on the back, 6 and 10. I mean, there were so many of those combinations of it. And, hey, I ended up just like 10, 10, 10. But now there was a 77 Ford F100, and it would use that. Yours was a D50. And, again, now I'm going to say Bradley, and I'm not going to go into any more names. I mean, they actually forced those tires onto that D50.
Hey,
but it was beautiful. I loved that. I did.
I tell you what, I saw this guy in Hamburg where I got that. He had a S10. Now, it was a four-wheel drive, but he had those really wide fucking tires on it. Not only that, he had extenders on it. And I'm like, well, I want those right there on there. And I knew it could be done. And Bradley, at first, everybody was like, well, no, you can't do it. And Bradley said, that's bullshit. I can do it. He said, I've done it before. He said, I know.
Okay, so I can say Bradley. Okay, so go ahead.
Bradley, I mean, I don't know what you're saying, but Bradley, Bradley's fine. Yeah, I mean, we're just using first fucking names. I mean, my name's Brad. That's all I know. But anyway, so, he did it. I mean, I remember him doing it. I remember him sitting in that little shed. It's so much different.
Oh, I remember him doing it because I was working at that little gas station just behind where they lived. Yeah. I remember them pushing that on there. That was actually truly my first job was the B. Bradley. Oh, since I can say Bradley. He worked up there at that little gas station in Fountain Hill, Arkansas. Now if you go look at that, there was Boyd Nichols, and there was this tiny little gas station right to the side. And Go to Walmart and try to install those tires. We did things that was not normally regular, but yeah, I still remember that. I mean, that was a long time ago. Jeez.
Getting close
Anyway,
to 40.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it's getting close to 40 years. But now, you see, what that did was is that we had lowered that truck down. I think you were involved with that too, weren't you? With lowering lowering.
Yeah. No, I'm the one that helped you change that transmission and stuff.
No, I mean, I know. Well, you did the motor, but who helped me? Who was doing the lowering with me? I think it was Warren.
Okay. The lowering.
Warren.
No, I did not do that. I just had
Warren
to change the motor and transmission. So yes, you may be
Warren,
wrong.
Warren King, I think, helped with it. But anyway, so
I will not say it wasn't, but yeah, probably.
That's who it was. Because I remember, anyway, we lowered it down. And we even went so far as to heat up the springs up front with a block up under it, with a block in it, so it would just to get them a little bit hot so that it wouldn't fall all the way down. But we had it blocked up where we go a little bit. Anyway, so we did all that, and that thing was rough riding as hell. But with those tires on there, it made it a whole lot better. And it was a perfect little street car. Now, you couldn't ride a dirt road with that thing. It was not built for that because it wasn't very far off the ground. You know, the clearance was totally different. Now, again, if I would have done it different.
We go into the ditch. We're already in the ditch.
Yes. Yes. But now you think about it, though. You know, those little trucks like that, like Gary had and like I had, and like those little trucks I've been looking at lately, which is the K trucks or Key trucks there's a Mitsubishi version of it too, but the biggest engine they can have is a 660. But the good thing about those little trucks is that they're really good out there in the woods, and they're teaching you how to drive, and they're basically like a side-by-side now. I mean, a Toyota truck or, you know, a Mitsubishi truck back then is nothing.
You can pull off the road, but you ain't a four-wheel drive bitch, okay? You know, you can drive off the road a tiny bit and kind of crawl through a place, but when we were kids, yeah, we don't want to get into that. Go, that's crazy.
The good thing about that little Dodge
stupid
50,
shit.
The good thing about the Dodge D50, man, is that it was so light, so if it got stuck, you didn't have to have anybody pull you out, man. You got three or four boys.
Again, it's like you and I, and, you know, them, it's like two people in the back, one on the gas, and one pulling from the front. You could pull any one of them out of the ditch. Absolutely. You didn't need a tractor. You didn't need anything else.
I love that saying, though, man. It's like, one of us, maybe it was you, maybe it was me, said, "Oh shit, we're gonna run in the fucking ditch," and the other one was like, "We're already in the ditch." Who was that? Tell me about that. Who was that? Me and Harry? It was Hank, me and you and Gary, or who was that?
That was me, you, and Gary Peterson and David, and it was the first time I ever left my house on Thanksgiving. And we went to Jerome, and we bought some pink champagne. And David Wilson and Gary Peters was in the front of the truck. You and I was in the back of the truck. We were driving the back roads from Jerome. And it was like, dude, if we don't slow down, we'll end up in the ditch. It's like, we're already in the ditch because we drank pink champagne.
Malt liquor, man.
It was pink champagne. I still remember from Jerome. Yeah. I may be wrong in the name of it, but I still remember pink champagne.
Well, I remember a lot about that day because it was my first time away from home on that. I don't know how old we were.
I have never left my house on Thanksgiving, but yes, it was about 14, 15, something like that. Anyway, just for the commentary, continue, please, sir.
No, that's the fun part, though, because I would not let my 14-year-old that I know of do what we did that day. Of course, they didn't know what we were doing, you know, probably. But we were in Louisiana at one point that day. We were in Jerome, but we made a wrong turn, and Gary's like, 2 miles to Louisiana. What the fuck? Or something like that.
Oh, absolutely,
And-
always. I mean, when we went to down Jerome, we knew where the state park was, and we knew how much salt to pour on it, and we would drive back. Now, this still was in, high school with Fountain Hill, and we would go around Jerome, and we go, yeah, here you go, buy 1 6-pack of the Good Goodies. We'd all drink a couple, and then you drink the white can with beer written across of it. But we knew exactly from Jerome to the first state park, if you poured salt on it, 7 minutes, that shit would have ice floating in it. And it was great. That's the way we did it. Now, again, on the Thanksgiving Day.
Hold on. Let me say this. Hold on.
Okay.
Hey, also, 7 minutes is also how long it takes to burn a tire. Those regular tires back there, because you could burn a tire and it would take that long, which would be long enough for the beer to cool down. That's what everybody else said.
Yeah,
something like that. What was something? What was that? It was the same type thing. I mean, we had all kinds of rules.
It was, and it was, again, the state trooper guy, the guy at Fountain Hill, and we were at the old rodeo grounds. He would show them and go, hey, y'all better leave. The cops are coming. Again, that was still a state trooper that understand kids were kids in Fountain Hill.
In that time period.
At that time period, absolutely. What was his name? Oh,
I know Nate Jackson was over there, but now
Nate Jackson. No, that's exactly who it was. Nate Jackson. He lived right by the road that went behind the school, and he would show up at Hell Hill or the old rodeo ground, pick the name, and and he'd go, ha ha ha, and I still remember one night we were all up there at the old rodeo grounds. Now, again, this was very close to 133 or 425. Pick the road number, and he drove up, and we were all up there. And again, we called that the old rodeo ground. Shut up, Brutus. And he drove up, and we're all up there, and I still remember all the beers going clunk, 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 clunk. And he said, every one of you fuckers that threw that beer, you're under arrest. And he was like, do what? And they said, the cops coming. Y'all leave. I mean, now, this was the original at the very end of the ground, not the, yeah.
I know where you're at. And, hey, let me tell you another thing about him. And we also just mentioned Warren. Me and Warren were the ones who did that lowering of that little Dodge 50. But also, me and Warren were parked out in the middle of the fucking street in Fountain Hill one night. And Nate pulled up. This is my first time to meet him. This is back, earlier.
Yeah.
And my kid was parked out there, and he looked at Warren. He put him up front.
Nate Jackson.
That's what I was getting to say, Nate Jackson. But anyway,
well, see, I missed that. I was trying to place that name. I apologize.
Yeah, Nate Jackson's the same. Yeah. Anyway, so he looked at Warren. He said front seat. He looked at me and he said back seat. And then it had a cage back there, and I said, "You want me to close the door?" He said, "Close the door." He said, "You're going to get out. Close the door." He even, I think he said that. I'm pretty sure he did. He said, "You'll get out." Whatever.
He probably said something like that.
It wasn't as blatant as that. He said, "You'll probably get out," something like that.
Yeah,
anyway,
he was. Yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, we were breathing beer. We had been drinking Budweiser. You know how that shit smells. Smoking cigarettes.
And again, he was trying to give you the, okay, well.
he said, here's the deal, boys. I'm going to write y'all a warning. I don't want y'all.
Yeah. Even though you were breathing beer, he was trying to do his best to help you.
He did. He said, don't park in the road. He said, I'm not the only.
And this is where it goes back to, at one point, you and I have had this podcast about, at one point, the folks that were within your community understands, like, boys, carry your ass to the house and go to sleep. Don't keep fucking your ass up. And have we missed that?
Well, let me
now,
take
please
some other
continue, but now I'm just doing a call back to a couple of the ones we talked about before. Go ahead.
We'll wrap around there again. I want to tell you, though, another one up there, Nate Jackson, too, was a black African-American, what do you want to call it, cop. And he was different. Everybody was scared of him. Now think about the stories that we just told about him, and him pulling up there and saying, all that kind of stuff, get out of here, because he was a good guy, and he was not trying to be racist. He was a good old boy. He just wanted everybody to be cool, but he wasn't going to allow no bullshit. You didn't get shitty with him. You didn't be an asshole with him. You showed him respect. He showed you respect. If he thought you were being dumb, he'd take care of you, too. I'm talking about in a good way. But now another guy up there, now he wasn't a state trooper, but he was a deputy. And I was riding my horse. We probably have talked about my horse before, but I had this white horse, and I got one when I was about 14 years old. Me and that thing was just mischievous little characters. And I was riding down the road one day, and I looked down there, and I saw a wallet. It wasn't just a regular wallet. It was a wallet that had a badge on it. And I didn't know really what it was, but I picked it up, and I just put it in my little saddlebag thing, and I just carried it home, And I started looking at it, and it was a fucking badge is what it was. I didn't really know exactly what. I don't think I knew what it was until I got home. So I just saw a wallet, and I was like, well, she has some money in this motherfucker, but I don't want nobody to see me, so I got that something to threw it in there. And anyway, I got home, it was a badge in it. And to come to find out, it was Adolph McHenry, and he was a deputy there, and he was also another African-American guy. I'd known him before, but he was always kind of,
Adolph is the one that always come and warned us.
Yeah, it was different than Nate. Nate was a little bit different than Adolph. That's who I thought you were talking about. But Adolph is different. But he always tried to stay a little. But now he tried to stay a little bit more different, But now, when I went up there and I turned it into him, and he investigated me because he said I'm just not going to. He said I appreciate you bringing this back to me. He said, but I'm going to be a little bit of hard ass on you. I want to know how you got this. And I said, well, I was riding my horse down the road there. And of course, you're going slower when you're riding a horse. And I saw it, and I was like, well, shit. And I threw it in my saddlebag. And what we had concluded is that he remembered after we talked about it, he had made a stop whenever he was going back to his car. It was at nighttime. He had dropped it. And anyway, that was pretty neat. I had to go to his house and deliver it to him.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about. Again, you're talking about the difference between, I remember Adolph versus the other one. And each one of them tried to go, look, these are young kids. They're just doing their thing. And these days, now I'm still going to a callback from way back, was when we were kids. They would go, look, you're going to fuck up. Let's talk to you. Let's keep you out of trouble. These days, no one even wants to get their dang driver's license. They don't want to leave the house. Everything has to do with just at home. Facebook, just whatever. I'm still amazed at how many kids even get laid these days. Now, between you and I mean, I'm telling you, dude, that's all I was interested in. Go ahead, I will shut up.
I'm scared to leave the fucking house too. If you have anything going on, I mean, if your license aren't perfect, you have any kind of thing, you can be stopped at any time, and you're going to pay out the ass for it because they can find something if they want to. You hear me? So most kids now, they're scared to. Their parents a lot of times won't let them. Specifically if they've been drinking, because, hell, like with my boy, I can tell my boy's story. He got to drinking, and he decided he wanted to go somewhere, and he went in his vehicle, and now he's paying the repercussions for it. He had an accident.
Well, now, that's a unique situation. All I'm trying to say is a whole lot of these kids don't even want to get a license.
I know, but let me tell the story, though. But, like, him... the thing of it is that you can't do that shit that we did back in the fucking 70s and 80s in the early 90s. It changed. In the early 2000s, it all changed. Kids can't do what they did. And it's harder to meet people. And all you got is social media. And people, if you have old traditional values, you're not going to do well with this younger generation because they're all over the place. They don't think about the same kinds of shit that a lot of us think about, although they may think about it, but it's in a way that you'd never fucking understand it because they don't think like we do. Just like we don't think like our parents. Now, over the years, our parents and us have kind of got a little closer, and I suspect that we'll get closer with our kids as we both get older, although that may be kind of hard for a lot of us because a lot of us are like me and had kids later in life, but I got one that's a little bit older. Anyway. The thing of it is, we'll probably get closer. In fact, I think Brecken and I probably have gotten closer. And me with a lot of kids that age, a lot of them are being raised by us. So they're direct reflection of us, man. I love these fucking kids. And the fact that my kid can quote the dude, he says he can't. He's like, oh, I don't know that shit, man. I didn't pay attention to it. Then I'd be like, I'd do something, all of a sudden he'll quote the dude. I'm like, I think he'll do the same thing. Oh God, and all
well, what I was saying
these days,
was, in terms of that, you and Ben are very close. You and Benjamin, hey, you've had a different situation. I ain't going to exes or any of that stuff, but some of them were taught certain things that would not be what we, as you and I, would actually encourage. If we had actually been able to be a part of their lives, we would have taught them different. We would have been more fathers, daddies. I mean, pick your term. I mean, a father can be anybody that can just shove their goober into a hole and make a baby. A daddy is one that goes, well, let me teach you how to be a man. So, I mean, there's kind of that difference, and again, I ain't getting into y'all's differences and all that kind of stuff, but you know what I'm trying to say here, because
to me, I agree with you. I would never explain, just move on, man. But it makes me say this, though. I love, and I'm trying to teach Brecken like this, and all my kids, the thing that I'm trying to get people to do is...
Absolutely. I'm just trying to steer you that way. Please continue.
It's about stop reacting and responding. We respond, but don't fucking react. Be proactive. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to explain everything. In fact, whenever I first went to working for people, and I thought I knew some shit from college and graduate school and all that kind of stuff, but I got in the business world, they want you refined. They want you educated, but they want to give you the finishing that they want to give you, okay? So a lot of it, that the stuff they taught me was like, never explain shit that you don't have to. It's just like whenever you're having conversations with people, think of it almost like you're having a conversation with a cop, because everything is business. If you're really deep into it, if you're not careful, you get your ass in some shit. So don't explain shit. Don't overly.
Do not over-explain. Wait for them to explain to you.
That's right. And don't be giving, try not to get too entrenched in stuff, So don't explain. Part of that is don't blame. When you start blaming other people, it starts making you bad. Because every time you hear somebody start, well, it's their fault that I have this, and their fault, and I didn't do it, and everybody else is doing it, you're not thinking, you need to shut the fuck up, because you look dirty. Anytime I hear somebody over-explaining, overly blaming, complaining too much, shut the fuck up. Just keep on moving. That's what I'm teaching my kids. I don't want to hear all that shit. Like if you're in trouble, and we're talking about like if you're in any kind of a confrontation or trouble or something that's just not flowing correctly, don't be sitting there overly explaining shit. Shut the fuck up. If it's not going right, don't dig the hole fucking deeper. And the biggest part is don't fucking overly respond. Like if someone, or overly react. If you come up with somebody and you're mad about something new, the whole world hadn't got to know about it. And here's how I explain this. Somebody's like, well, it's okay. I see so and so doing it out in public. And I said, yeah, but to me, And to you, whether you know it or not, it's the same thing as shitting in public. Go to your bathroom. You're going to have an explosion, a COVID explosion. If you're going to have like some kind of a mental breakdown, don't do it in front of everybody. Be cognizant of it because you're going to have to recover. So it's best to get the fuck out of the way. If you know you're not in a good place, don't fucking be out in public with all these videos going on. And you're always being recorded. Don't fucking blame. Don't complain. Don't overly explain. Shut the fuck up. Take care of business. And just be careful. Because it's a cold-ass world out there right now. To me, if you just kind of be non-controversial, you can have all the beliefs you want to believe. Everybody does, but nobody gives a fuck about what your beliefs are. They don't care what my beliefs are. As far as that goes. I'm just trying to pay, like the whole, let me just go off in this little rant for a second, but everybody's talking about woke.
Have at it, man.
Woke is, what? Look at the origin of it, which everybody doesn't want to hear in the first place because it's not what people want to do. They want to fight and complain. That's fucking human nature, apparently, for most people. 35% of people, all they want to do is just complain. 33%, 1/3 of people, they would rather do complaining than any fucking body. But there's this well, I don't want to talk about it. See, I'm complaining right now thinking about it. But the thing of it is that
but it's okay. You're allowed to. You're my best friend. You're allowed to complain.
No, but I'm doing it. I'm making a point. When you hear yourself doing it, it's okay to start.
I know you are, and I'm allowing you to do it.
Like with Brecken and them this weekend, it's like, I said it's okay to do it first to show your teeth, to growl at somebody, but then just back up and say, is it necessary for me to throw gasoline on this fire? I mean, is that really how?
Believe me, there's so many times I have to wonder, it's like, okay, so now I'm going to go back to my granddaughter and, pop, and then it's like, okay, so do I actually have got to be involved? Have I not taught my kids to be intelligent as they should be? But now, again, you and I have both discussed, you've got to about 12-year-old to teach your kids to be responsible adults. And after that, you pretty much just got to deal with teenagers. They may or may not be as you wish they could be. My dad taught me how to live on a farm, so I try to do that. And then I try to do the same thing, and it's like, it ain't quite right because the kids I have aren't meant for a farm. So there's that little different combination to go through. I just want to interject that and see what you thought.
Well, I think that makes sense, but I want to say right now, if they don't want to be on the farm right now, later on, when they get a little experience and they can maybe move back down this way, they may want to be. You know what I'm saying? They may want to come there one day to help you.
Oh, absolutely. They will eventually appreciate. Go ahead.
But they just got to make their own way. It's like you did. It's like I did. I didn't. Hell, I wanted to get away from all that bullshit, man. I mean, I love my parents, but we got to have somebody we rebel against. There's always got to be a particular one we rebel because there's a lot of times men that were taught in certain ways, like we were in traditional 20th century manner. Rebellion is the way to say that I'm not that. Is how I'm going to explain who I am. But there's another way to explain who you are, which is by explaining who you are. As opposed to explaining what I'm not, you explain what you are. Well, now that's a different task. Whenever you explain what you are, then you confuse people. They're going, oh my God, there's what? You mean I could do that too? Yes. That's what I try to tell.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I tell my children, you want to be an individual. You don't want to be where you're just an automaton, where you're just responding and shit around you. You want to be free and independent minded. And of course, you can't do that if you're off in space or fucked up or where you can't fucking get where you're at, you can't be here and now, you're not free. If you're not in the here and now, I don't give a fuck what kind of money you have, you're fucked up because you're not here and now. Here and now, which is you thump the wall. You know you're here, something rings. It's like that. I don't know what it is like, but you're in reality.
Well, if you are the stereotypical Buffy, oh, Biff, and see, there's a disconnect is, hey, I worked my whole life and I tried to find someone that would support me. Soulmates aren't found, they're made. I mean, truly, you got to work at it every day. And I keep asking, it's like, oh, I'm so glad you found your wife. I ain't going to say the name, Wit. But she actually grounds you in so many ways because we ain't right in our heads in so other many ways. We need to find a few things. Now, me as a father, I found that very satisfying. I love being a father. I love the way my daughter loves me. I love the way I love my grandbabies. But now that's me. You, on another hand, may be like, well, I don't know. But now I'm not saying you don't, but that may not be your go-to. Me personally, oh yeah, I love that. I love my grandbabies. I love my family. I love all those kind of things. But that don't mean we always got to be happy about it. But it's still the occasion of finding the ways to be happy as you can.
Well, I'm going to tell you, with me, it's me and my boys and my wife and my dad. Those are the really close people around me. But in fact, my wife is really close to me right now. So anyway, I want to sign out, brother. Merry Christmas again.
Okay, well,
I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye.